I sold my kidney to buy a shoutout from an e-girl, but she mispronounced my name, so I'm trying to sue her for medical malpractice. The blue light of the monitor was the only thing keeping the shadows in my cramped apartment from swallowing me whole. It was 3 in the morning, and the video had been live for an hour. I'd watched it 17 times. Each time, the word hits me like a physical blow, a phantom kick to the dull, persistent ache in my lower back. K-Lan. She'd said it with such confidence, a little giggle punctuating the end of it as she flashed a peace sign to the camera. A super special thank you to my supernova star, K-Lan, for the absolutely insane support. You're a real one. Then she moved on, seamlessly transitioning into a story about her cat. For her, it was a 30-second clip. For me, it was the culmination of everything, the end of a limb. My name is Kaylin, pronounced K-Lin, not K-Lan. It's not that hard. It's the one thing, the only thing I had asked for. When you wire someone the equivalent of a down payment on a house, you expect them to get your name right. The money hadn't come from a trust fund or a lucky stock pick. It came from a clinic in a country I couldn't find on a map 2 months ago. It came with a 6-inch scar that still felt tight and angry, a constant reminder of the hollow space inside me. I told myself it was an investment, not in a stream, not in some fleeting internet fame, but in a connection. That's what Astra sold, not just gameplay and cute outfits, but a sense of belonging. For thousands of guys like me, sitting alone in the dark, her stream was a lighthouse. Her "Hey Starlights" at the beginning of every broadcast felt more genuine than any conversation I'd had in years. I started watching her during the long nights after my dad passed. The silence in this apartment was deafening. Astra filled it. Her world was all neon pinks and purples, a digital dreamscape where everything was exciting and nothing ever really hurt. I started with $5 donations, a little message that would pop up on screen, read aloud in her sweet, melodic voice. "Thanks for the bits, Kaylin." The first time she said my name correctly, my heart hammered against my ribs. It felt like she was seeing me. So I donated more, 50, 100. I started skipping meals to do it. It was worth it, just to have my name exist in her world for a few seconds. Then she announced the Supernova Star tier, one personalized, pre-recorded shout-out video. The price was astronomical. It was a joke, a meme for the chat to laugh at. But for me, it became an obsession. It was the ultimate validation, a permanent piece of her acknowledging me. The idea started as a dark little joke in my own head. What's a kidney worth? I Googled it. The number was shocking. It was almost the exact amount. The joke stopped being funny and started to feel like fate. I found a broker online, went through encrypted chats and shady video calls. It all felt so surreal, like I was moving through someone else's life. The surgery itself is a blur of antiseptic smells and hushed foreign voices. I woke up feeling lighter, emptier. The wire transfer went through 2 days later. I sent the confirmation to her business email, along with a simple message for the Supernova shoutout. My name is Kaylin, pronounced K-Len. I even included a phonetic spelling. I thought about that message for weeks, dreaming of the video. I imagined her sitting in her gaming chair, smiling right at me, saying my name perfectly. It would be a monument to my sacrifice. But she said K-Lan. And in that moment, the entire fantasy shattered. The connection I'd paid for with a piece of my own body was a faulty product. The lighthouse was just a colored light bulb.
I tried to reach out. I messaged her moderators. I was polite at first, just asking for a correction. My messages were ignored. I got more frantic. I spammed the chat during her next live stream. "You said my name wrong. Please, Astra, just re-record it." The little hammer icon appeared next to my username. Banned. Just like that, I was erased. The rage that filled me was cold and sharp. It mixed with the pain in my side until I couldn't tell the difference between them. This wasn't just a mistake. This was negligence. The shout-out was the service rendered for the payment. The payment came from a medical procedure. Her failure to perform the service correctly caused me extreme emotional distress, which was aggravating my physical recovery. The logic was a spiral, but in my head it was a straight line. It was her fault, all of it. This was a case of malpractice. I spent the next 2 days calling lawyers. The first one, a woman from a slick downtown firm whose website promised aggressive representation, actually laughed. It wasn't a mean laugh, more of a confused, disbelieving chuckle that was somehow worse. She cut me off mid-sentence, right after the word kidney, and told me to have a nice day. The second hung up. The third advised me to seek psychiatric help. With each rejection, the conviction in my gut hardened into something bitter and metallic. They didn't understand. They saw a crazy fan, a simp, as the internet would call it. They didn't see the scar, the empty space, the sheer crushing weight of a promise broken after paying the highest possible price. They didn't understand that the mispronunciation wasn't just a flubbed line. It was a fundamental betrayal of the contract, a contract written in my own flesh and blood. I finally found a guy named Barry Roth. His office was in a strip mall, sandwiched between a vape shop and a palm reader. The blinds were yellowed with age, and the air smelled like stale coffee and desperation. He had a face like a collapsed punching bag and a suit that was at least a decade out of style. He listened to my entire story without interrupting, his eyes gleaming with a strange kind of interest. When he finished, he leaned back in his creaky chair and steepled his fingers. "Medical malpractice is a tough sell," he said, his voice a gravelly rasp. "The doctor who took the kidney, maybe. The e-girl, no judge is going to buy that." My heart sank. "But," he continued, a slow smile spreading across his face, "what we do have is a breach of contract with extreme, demonstrable, and I dare say unprecedented emotional and physical damages. This isn't about malpractice. This is about a product not being delivered as advertised, causing direct harm to a consumer who paid, let's just say, an extraordinary price." He saw it. He saw the angle. He saw the money. For the first time in weeks, I felt a surge of hope. The lawsuit was filed. It took about 12 hours for the internet to find it. My username, once a source of pride when it flashed on Astra's screen, was now the headline on gaming blogs and drama channels. "Fan sues streamer Astra after selling kidney for botched shoutout." The story went viral. And the comments, they were a tidal wave of pure vitriol. I was a psycho, a stalker, a pathetic loser who deserved to be scammed. They made memes out of my pain, photoshopping my face onto diagrams of the human renal system. The very community I had sacrificed everything to be a part of was now gleefully tearing me to shreds. Astra addressed it on stream, of course. She didn't even use my name. She just sighed, rolled her eyes in that cute way she does, and said, "Yeah, you guys might have seen some crazy stuff online. We're dealing with it, just some baseless, really sad stuff. Anyway, who's ready to see me fail at this boss fight again?" Her chat flooded with heart emojis and messages of support for her. I was a footnote, an annoyance in her perfect neon world. The legal battle was a joke. Astra's lawyers were from a firm that probably had its own zip code. They filed a motion to dismiss so thick it could have stopped a bullet. Barry, who had been so confident in his strip mall office, started sweating through his cheap suits. He'd talk about procedural hurdles and discovery motions, but I could see the panic in his eyes. The core of our argument, the link between my surgery and her shoutout, was treated with open contempt by the court. The judge, a stern-faced woman who looked like she'd never even heard of Twitch, listened to Barry's opening remarks with an expression of deepening horror. The unprecedented damages Barry had been so excited about were dismissed as the unfortunate consequences of my own terrible decisions. The law, it turned out, didn't care about the nuances of parasocial relationships. It didn't care that my sacrifice was real. The case was thrown out before it ever really began. Barry sent me a bill for his services that made me feel sick. I was back in my apartment, in the same chair, staring at the same monitor. The world had moved on. Astra was still streaming, her viewer count higher than ever. Her starlights were still donating, still hoping to be seen. I was just a ghost, a cautionary tale they'd tell for a few weeks before forgetting completely. The dull ache in my back was a constant, throbbing reminder. It was the only real thing left. I pulled up the video, the 30-second clip that had cost me a part of my body. I watched it one more time. Her smile, the peace sign, the cheerful, confident mispronunciation of my name, Kalan. It didn't even make me angry anymore. It just made me feel empty. A different kind of empty than the space where my kidney used to be. A deeper, more permanent void. I sold a piece of myself for a connection that only ever existed in my own head. I paid for a lighthouse beam to land on me for just a moment, only to realize I was standing in a place it could never possibly reach. The scar on my back is the receipt for a transaction I can't return, a permanent mark for a fleeting fantasy. I look at her stream now, the endless scroll of names and messages, all clamoring for a second of her attention, and I have to wonder if they see what I see. A beautiful, colored light bulb shining in the dark, warming nothing. In a world where we can feel so alone, how much of yourself is it worth giving up just to feel seen for a second? Let us know in the comments.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. I post new stories every day.